The biggest part, I said, was education, and the mainstay of our work really was organizing informational picket lines at grocery stores, primarily Safeway, and we did do some. There would be a strategy out of California, say. One of the things that was interesting as we learned how this whole business worked is that if you could get grocery stores competing with one another, because their profit margins are so marginal, if you could get them to compete with one another, we could pick off grocery chains, and they would be willing to give up, say, buying or selling particular brands where we were targeting trying to get a contract. So I use one company, Bud Andal. Bud Andal was a big grower, and so we would go to a smaller than Safeway store, say a Lucky Store, Mayfair Markets, which is a chain that was in both Seattle and all down the West Coast, and we would convince Lucky Stores to not do business with Bud Andal, and we could actually get them to do it, because we could say, when we're over here at Safeway, we'll tell them that Lucky Stores is supporting what we're trying to do. So nationally, Caesar worked on, and Marshall Gans worked on those kind of strategies, and then we would go in and help target. So we'd have a target on Lucky Stores, and they would turn around and support us, and then we'd go on someplace else. So locally, the Mayfair Markets and the Lucky Stores ended up finally at least not selling the lettuce from the most egregious growers, whether it was that they were the largest or they were the ones that seemed to be perpetrating some of the pretty awful stuff that was going on down there. And so then the fallback was all the Safeway, so then we were always at Safeway stores, and because Safeway was so big, and because they actually had, they were proud of having vertical monopolies where they would own the production and the means and the everything else. They were always the hardest nut to crack. We'd also do some things that were kind of fun and prankish. So one time we targeted the local, I don't know what he was, vice president of Safeway, and we followed him for 5 days. So he would have lunch at the yacht club, and my sister Nancy was in charge of the following. I was somehow in the background doing logistics, and so they would follow him and then show up at Seattle Yacht Club, and there'd be 5 or 6 picketers, so everybody had lunch at the yacht club, would, and they'd have the guy's name, and so, I mean, it was, I don't know that it was particularly effective, but it was fun, and it drew attention, and what we're trying to do is to get people's personal attention and to get them to personally address the issues that we were trying to talk about.